Welcome everybody to the Latin Nurse Network. My name is Jose and this is my review for Heart Eyes, the newest horror film ready to steal your hearts away, of course, on Valentine's Day as it's coming in a couple weeks. And nothing says I love you like some gore, blood, hack and slash action. I was actually looking forward to this one. It's kind of looked like your classic kind of horror, a slasher film, but kind of with a twist, if you will. The story really revolves around the young woman, recently broke up with her boyfriend. She's stalking him on Instagram, having those regrets. Of course, she's one of those that I hate love. She's at the stage in her life. I hate guys. I hate love. She ends up meeting some guy at a meet cute, if you will, I guess, at some coffee shop, and they're unaware of it at the time, but he actually is going to work with her and her company for a couple of days, helping with some big advertising thing that they're trying to push. And of course, they go out on a date, and soon afterwards, they get chased by this serial killer known as HEK, the Heart Eyes Killer, who for over the last 3 years has shown up at different cities and, left a bunch of dead bodies in his wake, chopping them up and all that, which the beginning of the movie kind of sets up nicely. Now, I'll say this because I like new creative ways of presentation of a lot of these films and blending genres and all that. And this one is an unusual blend of a rom-com and a horror film, right? Unusual, you don't quite see that. You see comedy, generally with horror, but not a rom-com per se. And this is what this movie is. At least what it tries to be. Now, overall, I'll say this because I don't think it worked well on either level, right? Or as well as it could have, because they kind of undermine each other, right? In terms of the horror elements and the rom-com elements. As it was a good college try here. I really appreciate the effort, and I didn't hate this film. This film has some entertainment value, and those times, and as far as in the comedy side, which really worked. There's one scene particular in a van, which the trailers showed part of it. They're like in this van, and a couple is hiding from the killer, and it's a really funny scene, a really well done, and it's got the best gore out of the whole film. Excuse me, but ultimately, I think on the rom-com, it's cheesy and campy, but that's what rom-coms do a lot of times. And it does it on purpose in this film. It really knows what it's doing, right? It's playing into a lot of the tropes and all that, but at the same time, throwing into as well, there's a slasher killer out there going after them. But I don't know, the horror elements just quite aren't there. There's a lot of blood and gore and all that, some cool kill scenes, and that's great. I like that and I appreciate that. So it's kind of things that kind of kept me engaged in the film, because that's exactly what I wanted to see, right? That was what I was expecting to see, and we just got a little bit too much of the rom-com stuff at times, and that really just didn't quite work that much. It was very, I guess campy is the right word, but they tried very hard to make it seem kind of like they didn't care, like they knew what it was doing, it was being bad on purpose, but I question whether it was actually trying to be bad on purpose. I think it was just bad. But the horror elements at times didn't quite connect, but the kills were cool. If you want to see some cool kills, that's great. The issue is they spend so much time with the rom-com part of it, particularly in the first 35 minutes of the film. You hardly see any of the killings, and it starts off with obviously a scene with introducing us to the killer and him doing what he does, right? And then it just kind of goes off into these people meeting and yada 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 for like 30 minutes, more longer than that. A couple of kill scenes, back to the lovey stuff, and then in the ending, which is what I think it lost me, was just those last 10-15 minutes, it kind of fell apart. Honestly, the reveal was whatever. It was uninspired. The reasoning behind the killer, what he was doing, just whatever. It just didn't quite work. But again, it didn't have some nice visuals in terms of the gore, which as a horror guy, I appreciate. So those are in there. And there are some funny moments in there. I just think they blended very well to make it a great film. Like go out, rush out and watch it, something creative and original. It didn't quite hit for me on those levels. I think it just faltered on both, right? It's one of those, a classic, what do you call it, a jack of all trades, master of none, right? It's basically what this film is. But ultimately, listen, it's just one for me. I recommend watching it at home. Like I said, it's not a bad film, it's not a bad watch, it's not unentertaining at all. It's got some good moments in there, of course, but overall, I'm not sure if it's worth going out on Valentine's Day and checking this out. To be honest with you, with a date. But ultimately, if you catch it at home, that's the best bet. So if you do watch it in theaters at home, whatever, comment below. Let me know what you guys thought. And of course, if you haven't done so already, subscribe below and feed money to go to the movies and talk about it afterwards. See you guys next time.